Rainstorms throughout Friday and Saturday resulted in flooding near where the Jacob City fire burned nearly 4,000 acres last month.
Fox 13 News correspondent Chris Arnold spoke with residents in Soldier Canyon who were evacuated last night due to that flooding and the ensuing cleanup. Chris.
Well, good evening, Amy and Brian. I did speak with Stockton Police Chief Travis Romney here in just the past hour or so, and he says that right now Soldier Canyon Road, just up the road a little bit, is still closed at this time. Now, I'm standing off South Copper Road, just a little ways from that, in the entrance of the driveway of Benito Cordova, who's lived in this area for about 10 years. Now, I want you to take a look behind me right here. As you can see, a lot of water still standing, left over from all that rain and flooding last night. Now, while Cordova says there was no damage to his home, he says the water washed out some areas nearby. For Benito Cordova, he spent Sunday afternoon surveying his property.
Right here, this big bowl up in there, that's where it all come from.
After flooding caused him to be evacuated from his home last night around 8 o'clock until he was allowed to return after midnight.
They just evacuated us because they was scared that the debris dammed up the water and it would breach and it would come down in a big wave.
He drove Fox 13 News up to this area. What did this look like before this came through?
Oh, it was nice. It was all just filled with one nice little road, fences up on both sides.
About 200 yards from his home.
Where does all these rocks come from, you know? And as you can see, it washes the soil away. It erodes it until there's nothing but rocks.
This comes a year after flooding also impacted the same area.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen. The flood last year came down the canyon, all the way through the canyon. It busted into our basement windows and went down the stairway. It completely destroyed the basement.
It's why Cordova's neighbor, Lonnie Bates, says he built a 175-foot long and 6-foot high diversion wall on his property to keep that from happening again. However, Bates says this time the water came down from a different direction.
We find out there's a major stream that's quite a bit bigger than the main stream coming down the canyon. We've never seen that happen before. It came in from that direction.
Luckily, Bates says most of the damage this time around was out by the road in front of his house. However, he says he doesn't feel prepared quite yet if this kind of flooding happens again.
We have to go up on the hill. We have to go through and put some berms in up there. We've got to be able to redirect this water, get it off of the property.
Well, as for Cordova, he told me he hopes they won't see this happen again this season, but if so, he says he put sandbags around his home, window wells, and taken other measures to hopefully be prepared if they do see this flooding like this again. Now, as for when Soldier Canyon Road will reopen, Chief Romney tells me the Tooele County Roads Department is headed up there sometime today to both assess the damage and figure out how long it will take to fix that road. Live in Stockton, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.